President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. The UN was founded 79 years ago. At the time, we were in many ways standing at a crossroads. The world had been torn apart by 2 world wars. Something had to be done to contain the belligerence of nation states. We needed common institutions and rules. The mission of the United Nations was actually quite simple: to end war and promote peace, to promote justice and a better life for the entire world. And for most of its history, it's been able to do exactly that. I come from Finland. We're a small country in the northeastern corner of Europe. We're a peace-loving nation. Our recovery from World War II and our rise from one of the poorest countries in Europe to one of the wealthiest and safest and, yes, happiest countries in the world is closely linked to the success of the United Nations. Our ability to demonstrate dignity, act with respect, promote compromise has played a critical role in our success story. We are a free and open society. We understand the value of this institution as we've first-hand experience of what it can bestow on a country and its citizens at its best. I think that today, in many ways, we're again standing at a crossroads, and I have to admit that I'm worried. Divisions between countries and blocs are widening. Our shared understanding of the world has dwindled, and it's been replaced by narratives that fuel controversy, conflict, and hatred. The number of ongoing conflicts is the highest since the Cold War, and the number of states involved in them is on the rise, especially in 3 hotspots: Palestine, Ukraine, and Sudan. Human suffering has long since reached a point that should be unacceptable in this room. The paradox, of course, is that many countries are rejecting multilateral cooperation precisely at a time when we need it more than ever. In my speech today, I will focus on 3 points, and I'll try to be as concrete and constructive as possible. First, on what unites rather than divides us. Second, on how to end the current wars. Third, on how to reform the UN and to reflect the world that we live in today. By adopting the Pact on the Future on Monday here, I think we proved that the UN works. And I have to say that my address here today is to all of us collectively, not to anyone individually. I'm not into blame games or whataboutism. We're all responsible. We are all a part of the problem as well as the solution. So, first, let us focus on what unites rather than divides us. When the Cold War ended, many of us, myself included, believed in the thesis of the end of history, namely that most of the world's roughly 200 nation states would revert towards some kind of form of peace, prosperity, and harmonious coexistence. There was a strong belief that freedom, democracy, and globalization would win the day, that technological development, free trade, open information would automatically lead to global development and stability for all. But it did not. The problem was that we forgot the dark sides of mankind, including power, actually need to be contained in international institutions like the UN. We assumed too much and did too little. The things that were supposed to bring us together, like trade, interdependence, and information, are now tearing us apart. We must turn the tide and focus on how we can find common solutions to common global problems. Now, the biggest challenges in the world, climate change, technology, sustainable development, and conflict, are precisely the ones that we must work on together.